Sorry. Yeah. Welcome to tonight's License Subcommittee meeting. My name is Councillor Mercy Ume, and I'll be chairing tonight's meeting. The meeting is being broadcast live on Council's YouTube channel. If I lose connection and cannot connect, Councillor Borakwan will take over for me. I would like to remind all participants few housekeeping points. Please keep your microphone muted unless you are speaking at the hearing. Please keep your camera turned on when you speak at the hearing. Please note that the chat function has been disabled. If parties wish to add any additional information other than their allocated time to speak, they must use the raise hand function so that they are not missed. I also ask that members keep their questions and comments brief to the point. I now move to item 1 on our agenda. Item 1, apologies for absence. None was received. Item 2, declaration of interest. Do members have any declaration of interest? Councillors?
None from me, Chair.
None from me, Chair, either.
Thank you. Okay. Item 3, Top Pizza, 74 Fulham Palace Road, London, West 6, 9PL. I would like to ask every member participating to introduce yourself as I call you. We should have with us, I'll call your first name and introduce yourself. We have Hilda. Is she here?
Hilda's here. Hello.
Okay. Thank you. We have Sid.
Good evening. Yes, it's here.
Thank you. We have Lona, the licensing officer.
Yeah, present. Yeah, present, Chair.
We have Christina.
Present,
Christina, yeah. Licensing officer as well. Is she here?
Present, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Gerta, the council's legal officer.
Present, Chair. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Okay. Objecting, we have Alexis. Alex. Wagner, President. Are you here? You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Procedure. Before we begin, I can confirm that in addition to the main agenda, supplementary agenda A, containing additional information was published and circulated to all parties on the 14th of June, 2024, and supplementary agenda B and C were published and circulated to all parties on 17th June, 2024. Before we consider the application today, please, may I quickly explain the procedure the committee will follow. We will hear from the following. The licensing officer will introduce the application, the objector, and finally the applicant. Usually, each party will address the committee for a maximum of 5 minutes. Following presentation by all parties, the committee will then ask questions of any party or other person present at hearing, except committee members. No party has the right to ask questions to any other party during the hearing. Following the presentation and questioning, each party will be allowed maximum of 3 minutes to sum up their case of representation. Each committee will then retire for deliberation. Upon its return, I will announce the committee's decision. Presenting officer, can I ask the presenting officer, Lona, to introduce the application?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. On the 19th of March 2024, Hilda Cameron of LQAA submitted an application on behalf of Mr. Ali Yazdi, the applicant, to vary the premises licence in respect of the premises known as Tops Pizza, 74 Fulham Palace Road, London, W6 9PL. The premises does currently benefit from a premises licence which permits the following licensable activity: the provision of late night refreshment, both indoors and outdoors, Mondays to Sundays between the hours the provision of late night refreshment indoors Monday to Sundays between the hours of 11 till midnight, and the provision of late night refreshment outdoors Mondays to Sundays between the hours of 11 to 1 a.m. The sale of alcohol off the premises Monday to Sundays between the hours of 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. and the opening hours of the premises are Monday to Sunday between the hours of 11 a.m. till midnight. The applicant has applied to vary the hours for late night refreshment and opening hours, replace the plans and amend condition 11 outlined in the operating schedule of the application. And the new licensable activities being sought are late night refreshment, indoors only, Monday to Sunday between the hours of 11 p.m. till 2 a.m. Late night refreshments outdoors only, Monday to Sundays between the hours of 11 p.m. till 4 a.m. with the hours open to the public, Monday to Sunday between the hours of 11 a.m. till 2 a.m. and delivery only will only be after 2 a.m. when the premise is closed to the public. The applicant has proposed a number of additional steps to promote the full licensing objectives if the application for the variation is granted this evening. And on the 26th of April, following correspondence with the licensing team, and after receiving the representations received, the applicant had agreed to add further conditions to the licence to address the local residents' concerns if the variation is to be granted this evening. During the consultation period, the licensing section received 2 representations objecting to the licence application from local residents. And I can confirm that in addition to the main agenda, there was supplementary agenda item B was published and circulated to all parties on the 17th of June 2024, which contained additional information from the objector. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Lorna. Now, can I ask the objector, Alexis, you have 5 minutes to do your own presentation. Okay, 5 minutes.
So, hi everyone. I would like to draw the committee's attention to the 3 previously rejected license applications, which have been submitted as supplementary documents in Pack B on the 17th of June, and which can also be freely accessed on the Hammersmith and Fulham planning websites. I don't have time to go through all of the remarks in those documents, but I'll just stick to the most pertinent issues. The premises has already previously been refused extended opening hours beyond 11 p.m. in 1995, and then an appeal in 1996 was dismissed. The Planning Inspectorate found that, and I quote, "The proposal is unacceptable in that the extended opening hours are considered detrimental to the amenities of residential occupiers by reason of unacceptable levels of noise and disturbance, and as such, the proposal is contrary to policies EN 21 and SH 11 of the Unitary Development Plan." The original planning permission, dated 2nd of April 1984 for change of use of the ground floor to take away hot food shop, has a condition to limit the opening hours to between 9 a.m. and 11 p.m. on any day. And during the appeal, the Planning Inspectorate elaborated that, and again, I quote from the previous applications, the reason for the condition was stated as to ensure that the amenities of the surrounding neighborhood are not unduly affected. The Planning Inspectorate goes further on to state that there are residential neighbors above and reasonably close to the appeal premises, and the development plan requires that the amenities are taken into account. The permission does not allow the use at the appeal site to operate beyond 11 p.m. After such time, ambient noise levels are likely to be lower, even on this busy road. I would expect a later opening to 1 a.m. to add materially to the activity and noise close to the appeal site, which would be likely to disturb residential occupiers living above and close by. The extra noise, whether from people, cars, or delivery motorcycles, could reasonably be expected to disturb residents' sleep. A further attempt to extend the hours of operation of the license was made in 2011, which was also denied for the same reasons. The planning enforcement team of the Environment Services Department stated that clearly the proposed license application would exceed the permitted hours of operation by 2 hours and therefore would be in breach of the planning condition. They stated the following: the premises is not within the town centre. The ambient noise levels after the shops and offices have closed would be considerably lower, and more particularly lower after 11 p.m. as the levels of activity progressively decrease. A hot food takeaway outlet is by its very nature more likely to generate an increase in activity in and around the premises, as opposed to a restaurant which primarily provides food for the consumption on the premises. By contrast, hot food takeaway outlets provide fast food and are more likely to attract a different type of audience. Fast food takeaway often attracts large groups, often younger people, and this has the potential for antisocial behavior, including increased litter and general noise and disturbance. The noise of customers arriving and leaving these premises, together with the noise of delivery motorcycles, which form a substantial and essential part of a pizza takeaway business, would be more noticeable during the quieter late evening hours. To operate such a use during these periods late at night is likely to cause noise and disturbance to neighboring residential properties, especially those dwellings located directly above the shops in this parade. This view was held by the council when they previously refused to grant planning permission to extend the hours of operation to 1 a.m., let alone the current proposal, which requests operations to run to 4 a.m. The council pursued enforcement action following those refusals, which gives a clear indication of its concerns on this matter. The planning inspectorate went on to say, there are a number of drinking establishments in the immediate vicinity and nearby in Hammersmith town centre. A takeaway of this nature with a closing time beyond 11 p.m. would inevitably attract customers leaving nearby drinking establishments. This would further increase the potential for antisocial behavior, since there would be an increased level of activity with people entering and leaving the premises. Patrons are also more likely to congregate outside on the pavement, resulting in public nuisance due to the noise and disturbance, and especially in the later hours where ambient noise levels are much lower. The proposed opening hours until 1 a.m. are therefore considered to be unacceptable and would fail to meet licensing objectives in terms of nuisance and crime and disorder, and contrary to policies EN 21 and SH 11 of the Council's Unitary Development Plan. However, as we know, the UDP is now called a local plan since 2013, and you can find those policies under DMH9 and then also DMC6.
I think you're
and I'll quote. Yeah. Can I just quote the policy C6?
Okay.
Planning permission for use class A5 food and hot drinks establishments will be subject to condition controlling hours of operation as follows: except in predominantly commercial areas such as parts of town centres, premises shall not be open to customers later than the hour of 11 p.m. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Alexis. Can I have the applicant? Can I have Hilda? Hilda, I will allow you 6 minutes because you went over time.
Hello. I'll try not to take as much time, but I would like to point out that the objector concentrated on applications in the past 10 or 15 years ago. As we know, we're all aware that policy changes every 5 years. Now, on this occasion, the actual premises are actually does open till 1 o'clock. Late night refreshment at the government is 1 o'clock at night. And the application we've applied is till 2 o'clock and delivery after 2 o'clock. But we would be happy to actually start delivery from 1 o'clock. So the only thing will change is actually delivery. We'll have no customer walking in. And also I'd like to point out that was never complaint from environmental health as regard to this particular premises in environmental department. Planning department did not submit any representation on this occasion. Police did not submit any representation on this occasion, and of course, including the fire department. As I said, I mean, we're happy the applicant is flexible, whatever. At the end of the day, we did propose conditions according to Home Office to remedy problems or concerns submitted by an objector or any of the responsible authorities. So I would like these things to be taken into consideration, if possible. And as far as the objector mentioned motorbike, Top Speedster, it is franchise Speedster, it's not an individual independent a business. It is a franchise that's been going on for many, many years. And the vehicles that they use, including motorbikes, they're very well known to be sort of very low noise level. And if there is time, I would like the general manager to put an input into that, if that's possible. Which is Saeed Gobadi.
Yeah, hi, good evening. So I would like to introduce myself. This is Saeed Gobadi. I've been working with Top Speedster for past 10 years. As Hilda mentioned, it is a franchise business. We have 70 branches in UK, and we are expanding within UK currently. Every location that we have, we do have area managers. We have control over the CCTVs. We have policies in place in terms of health and safety, newsness, all the things. It's basically checked by a member of our team. We do have area managers visiting the store at any time of the day or night. I already have over 10 locations that got premises license till 4 a.m., 6 a.m., and they've been operating indoor, outdoor, delivering and giving out fresh pizzas to the customer. We do have policies in terms of how they need to operate. We do have manuals that we have given to stores. The delivery riders is our member of staff, so it's unlikely we use third parties drivers that we will cause issues or disturbance and making a lot of noise for the neighborhood. As well as beside that, this is a very small takeaway business and it's been trading since 1988, and we have, this is basically the mother of Top Speedster, and this is one of the shops that we have more eyes on it. And as I said, whatever objections that we have received so far, we are willing to put new policies, new conditions to operate as the neighborhood and public wants. And in terms of the delivery bikes, we got the scheme that every 3 years or 2 years we are changing it. Right now we are in talk with another company to go on a bicycle. Electric bike will be in the store to avoid any sort of news that it is not likely that causes any news, because these are brand new bike. It's basically brand new Honda Visions that we get every 3 years for this store. And right now we're considering to go on electric bicycles, which many of fast food chains at the moment using it. There is no usage of petrol. There is no noise. It's just going to be a pure vehicles used to deliver our pizzas to the local customers and residents. And I think that would be my input at the moment. So, Hilda?
I'm not sure whether we used our 5 minutes. Councillor?
I think the chair may have dropped off the call.
Oh, okay. Oh dear.
Usually it takes you about five minutes to come back. Let's wait.
Fair enough, fair enough. Does Said have to repeat the statement?
Debbie, do we know when the chair dropped off the call?
I'm trying to call her back, see if I can.
Councillor Kwon, are you happy to wait for a few minutes, and if the chair is not able to join, then you can take lead?
Sure. We'll wait to hear back from Debbie, and then if she hasn't been able to get through to Councillor Ume, I'm happy to take over.
Our quorum is for all the people attending tonight. So if the chair is not able to attend, then Councillor Kwon can take lead of the hearing, and then we can continue. So Debbie, please do let us know what the chair says. But if Councillor Kwon will continue with the call, the chair cannot, she can attend the hearing, but she cannot be part of the decision making later on.
I understand. Yeah. No.
Debbie, have we heard anything from the chair?
No.
Not yet.
I tried to call her, maybe.
Can you remind me, please, when is the next meeting starting for the second application?
7:30 or after.
7:30.
Yeah.
So I think we have only half an hour to finish this application. So Councillor Kwon, shall we?
He's just rejoined.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Councillor Yume is here.
Yeah, Sorry, my Wi-Fi just went.
I see.
Chair, I think you dropped off during. Did you hear the applicant,
Said.
Mr. Said?
He said, yeah, I had few things he was saying. So I stopped at where he said he's been there for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So
are you happy, Said, to summarize quickly, briefly what you were saying,
please,
so the chair
please,
can be?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Yeah. I want to just make a bullet point. I don't want to go through more detail because the rest of member of committee have listened to it. We have we are a franchise business, and we do have manuals, policies for all our stores to operate. These policies basically outline and most of these policies is outline how we basically deliver to member of publics, because it is 70 branch, and we do have over 10-15 branches that operate till 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. In regard to the noise, it is a very small stores. We already do change our bikes every 2 years to basically making sure that we are not bad toward the environment. And currently, at the moment, we are speaking to a company called Zomato to get electric bicycle, not bicycle, which is basically there are zero emission, as well as they are friendly with the environment. And it's good because the level of deliveries motor vehicle goes to zero. In regard to the delivery drivers, these drivers are employed by Top Pizza. They're not third-party drivers, that we don't have a control over it. If we do get any sort of complaints, any sort of problems from any neighbor about any of member of our staff, we can put them on a disciplinary, we can interview them because they are a member of staff. Well, sorry, what you saying?
Okay, I think that's enough time for now. I'm sure some of our committee members have heard what you said, so we can take it from there. So I'm going to be asking now the committee members to ask questions. Thank you, Said, for everything you said so far. In order for us to carry on, let me ask the members that have heard everything you said before me. They can ask questions now. So Hilda, you have, I think you and Said have spoken for over the hours already. So I'm going to go to committee members to ask questions now. Is that okay for committee members to ask questions now? Committee members? Yeah, okay. I have Councillor Afonso to ask question.
Hi there, good evening. So it's for the operator. I see from the license you've applied, or rather the amendment you've applied for, you're asking for opening hours of 2 a.m. Monday to Sunday. No other similar business has these operating hours in the immediate vicinity. Why do you feel you need those hours Monday to Thursday?
Yes, Councillor. The actual applicant themselves, they feel like people have been asking them to open later. And as you can see from the application, after 2 o'clock is delivery only. And I've stated it before, we're happy to do delivery only after 1 o'clock. And if you feel you need to adjust the hours, the thing is nobody has proposed, say, look, we're happy to give you from this time to this time. And normally when we have an objection, most of the time, the objector would make a proposition. For example, we have applied for these hours. And the example I've given that we can operate delivery from 1 o'clock, which is, we have late night refreshment at the moment till 1 o'clock. So after 1 o'clock will be delivery. No customers will be coming in. So that part of the concern would go, it's no longer exist. It will be just based on delivery only. And if you feel that 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe it is you want to trial the premises, we can do it till 3 o'clock, for example.
And Councillor Borokwan.
Thank you. My question is to Hilda and Said. Again, it's about asking about the nature of the opening hours, because I think on page 34 of the main report, there's a slight confusion, I think, about how the late hours are going to operate, because on page 34, if you look inside the first box, general or for licensing objectives, point 1, previously at the moment it says the premises should all close to members of the public at midnight and all lights in the customer area to be switched off. So is that the way that you operate at the moment? So at midnight, no one is allowed in the shop and you only take orders by phone and online, is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. And so if you were to be granted the license as requested until 4 a.m, you're proposing that you will have people in the shop until 2 a.m, and then between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m, it will be delivery only.
Correct.
Okay. So it's just the sort of how big is the seating inside the area at the moment? So if you were to have people from 11 till 2 a.m, like inside the shop with the extended hours, how many people would that possibly, if it was at maximum capacity?
Said,
to be honest, I don't know if you have a look at the plan of the actual unit. We only have the space for 1 or 2 people to walk in, place an order. And most of these orders already people order through website and our app. We don't have much people coming in, ordering and waiting for a pizza. So there is no sitting in. We don't have no place for you to consume the food. It's just a takeaway outlet that you call to make order, you go and collect it. We have a lot of time, even police officers at late time or hours when we were doing only delivery, they come and they ask, and we said, please make a order through website and we will deliver to wherever you would like, but we cannot be able to take your order through thing. So it's a very small collection area that most 90% of our customer, 95% of our customer order through website, our website, Top Pizza website, and app, and they go and collect their pizza from our outlet.
Okay, so at the moment, do you have any situations on a Friday or Saturday night where people have been out drinking late, they come in, so it should be a takeaway, but we know with pizza, because it's quite easy to eat, they'll pick up the pizza, maybe they'll walk sort of outside and then, sort of eat and talk and drink just outside of the shop before they go on. Do you have situations like that, or do you have methods of actually dealing with those kind of customers?
We are in middle of Fulham Palace Roads, where all the clubs and bars and where people drink, the social part of Hammersmith and the other side of town is the local does not come toward our shop, because they mainly catch their bus or their train from Hammersmith roundabout, Hammersmith station. So it's basically local, I would say, that normally come. We got hospital patients that a lot of them relies on thing, because there is a 24/7 A&E. We got a lot of customer care, the police officers, ambulance. I have a lot of police officers that are our customers that are on regular basis. They come and eat pizza when they are on duty. Ambulance service is exactly the same. So we are basically more considering giving service to local and public services that they need, because most of the people that buys from us is local. We don't get a lot of. We never had, to be honest, a drunk person to come inside and causing problem that we have to call the police, because the first objection we would have today was going to be from police officers, not from local community.
Okay. How about, and just my last question to you, just about the operation. How about people who come from the Apollo, the music venue? Do you find that do you have customers who come after that and they sort of stay in the area longer, or do you, is that not really a significant part of your business?
I can guarantee that there will be no one from that side to come toward us. Normally they go toward King Street, which is opposite side of Shepherd Bush. I'm sure that you work for Hammersmith.
Yeah.
So this is the part that they go, because I drive a lot in cities. So once the venue is finished, they always go through that side because they want to catch the buses toward central London or toward unlike even they want to think there is bus stop before on the roundabout that they normally collect their bus and they go. So I can give that sort of guarantee that not many people from those events will not. There is no people that comes from those events to us. As I said, with drunk, having drunk and think we never had any sort of issues in the past, as well as currently in we trying to force out a drunk person, or we sort of we got an accident book and refusal books that clearly mentioned there is not as such happen in our shop in past many years.
Okay, thank you. Chair, I haven't got any questions further for now.
Thank you, Councillor. Alexa, you are not supposed to ask questions to them, but can I have your comment?
Just to say that there's a pub less than 50 meters away from the premises, the Distiller's Pub. Also, a question on the opening times. My understanding is that it's only open until 11, and that's what the current license only allows. So I'm not sure where this 12 p.m. is coming up from.
Okay, we are going to clarify, because before then, let our legal advisor speak.
No, I had a follow-up question from Councillor Kwon, if I may, in relation to the capacity and the plan, because I noticed that in your application, you also would like to amend the existing plans. It's only one plan that you are seeking to amend. Is that correct?
Hilda?
Yes, sorry. If you call me there, the plan,
So in the committee report, I just want, so when the councillors deliberate and when we write the decision notice, I just want to be clear that how many plans are you seeking to amend with your application?
That's it. That's the one we've submitted. What we do is when I submit an application, we do an update to date plan. The existing plan, and that's the plan.
So it will be one plan, not plans, like it says in the
plan. Yes, one plan. One plan. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. There's can officer please could you explain to me the hours, the present hours this Top Hat has Pizza have got at present? What's their opening hours at present and closing?
What do you want the present opening hours are Monday to Sunday between 11 a.m. till midnight.
Okay, till midnight. Alexa.
Sorry. Late night refreshment? No.
The current late night refreshments, the provision of late night refreshment indoors is Monday to Sundays between the hours of 11 and midnight, and then provision of late night refreshment outdoors is Monday to Sundays between the hours of 11 till 1 a.m. and they also have the sale of alcohol off the premises Monday to Sunday between the hours of 11 and 11.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Chair, can I help
Yeah.
Lorna in her response and you councillors to understand? And Alexis as well on the question he had. The planning application, Alexis, you submitted as part of a supplementary agenda which was circulated to us. It's dated, I believe, 1995 or so. It's an old planning application. We do not have the up-to-date planning permission to confirm the hours. So at the moment I do not know, but what I can say is that it's irrelevant about the licensable hours. So if the premises in the planning permission, existing planning permission, what they have at the moment, requires the premises to close at 11 p.m., then they need to apply the planning application hours. And if they operate beyond that, then they are in breach of planning permission. So there are cases where the license has extended hours, what is in the planning permission. So I don't know the current planning permission. I do not have it in front of me. And we do not have the planning department commenting on this application. But if the planning permission, the current planning permission for this building, it says, for example, that they need to close by 11 p.m. and the license holder operates beyond that time, then they will be in breach of the planning permission. They can have the license for the hours, for extended hours, but they will be in breach of the planning permission. But we do not have in front of us today the planning permission. So, for example, if the members will grant the application tonight for extended hours, but the planning permission does not allow the building or the site to operate or open beyond what the committee will grant tonight, they need to close the premises according to the planning permission, irrelevant of the licensable hours. I hope that is clear.
Alexa, is it? Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. My question goes to Sedge or Hilda. You know, I just want to know, how many deliveries do you have in a day? How many deliveries do you have in a day?
Said, can you please comment?
It does varies between the days that we do operate, but normally during the day, it's got lunch and dinner. So let's say it varies between, let's say, 15 to 30 orders, because, you know, weekends are busy. Sometime during lunch is busy, sometime during dinner is busy. It varies time to time of the day. And we wanted to apply for this license just to be able to survive and keep this store open, because current climate with takeaway businesses across UK is hard, is struggling. All my sites, we're trying to do our utmost to be able to survive and keep our businesses open within the councils, within the UK. Otherwise, we have to close down.
How many deliveries do you? How many? You said you have your own delivery deliverers. So how many are there?
I'm sorry.
You know, you have people that deliver from you.
Yeah.
That is part of your business. So how many are there that deliver for you?
We do have always 5 people employed for a business, but during the day we will have 2 drill rider, dinner we will have 3, and at the end of the day is only going to be 1 driver doing the late night delivery for us.
Only 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so at moments you have 5 people that work with you at moment.
Yeah.
Including the drivers.
But the drivers are basically scheduled to the shifts, so they will only do certain hours and then they have to go home, because of the opening hours is 11 a.m. till all the way in 1 o'clock in the morning. So.
Okay. In terms of litters around your place, so how do you deal with the litters? Having people had their pizza, they litter the place. So how often do you clean the place?
Okay, as I have mentioned in previously, it's basically no food consumed within the site at all, because it's just a counter, like you got about 1.5 meter to stand, take your pizza, and then you can go to home. We don't have people standing there eating the pizza and litter. The second part is that we do have contract with a Hammersmith and Fulham waste recycling, and we do have a recycling as well as general waste. We do have these bags, and every night before we leave, we make sure that everywhere is tidy up. There is no litter, especially outside the shop, especially with our logo. You see, I don't have to say that, but I love Tops Pizza. I love my logo, and one thing that which always make me think that if I see a box on the street, and this is the training that we give to all our member of staff, you're a chief, you're not a chief, is your responsibility. You're working for that company, is your responsibility to pick that up and recycle it. So we do give that sort of thing, and I do respect that logo, because at the end of the day, I've been grown up with this company. So it's respectable logo for us, and we don't want that to be on the floor, people standing on it.
So how many of your staff are trained? How many of your staff are trained in terms of selling of alcohol?
With alcohol, I and Ali, we both have licenses, selling alcohol licenses most of the time. Selling alcohol is always outdoor. Okay, we get always one of the designated supervisor to be outside. You see, if I tell you right now we stop selling alcohol because of the amount of demand, that there's no demand for it, we stop selling alcohol. It's true. Right now we don't sell alcohol at all. It's just there for a special customer. For example, in a week we possibly sell one bottle of wine to a customer, which they usually buy. Otherwise, if you right now walk into and say, can I have a bottle of beer or a bottle of wine, they possibly say, unfortunately, we don't have it anymore.
Yeah. How many deliveries do you intend to have from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock? From 2 a.m. to 4? From 2 to 4.
It will not be a lot, but what I can say, every penny at the moment for our business, for type of business that we're running, it helps. That's what Tesco says. We believe in it. Every penny helps toward us being on the market, toward us being in Hammersmith and sell pizza, freshly baked pizza to the customer. And this is a request that we had from member of public, member of local authorities to stay open and possibly can be able to still supply the fresh pizza, because currently there are McDonald's, a lot of other things that sells, to be honest, I'm sorry to say that, junk foods, and they can still operate. But we, as a small business, we try to operate and give that fresh baked pizza, and we get hit back by local resident that we cannot be able to do that because it causes nuisance. And we've been operating since 1988, and my director started from this place at the start.
Okay, what of your neighbors upstairs? You have people that live above you? How are they?
We do have people above us, as well as we have you see, the areas is crowded by member of public living, and if there is any sort of complaint, it always goes to the head office. We have a store manager, duty manager. We do take any sort of complaints kind of important, and we always intend, even a small complaint, it will get to as high as director's level, which is my director, which is Ali.
Councillors, committee members, do you have more questions? Yes, our legal
Yeah.
advisor. Yeah.
Sorry, Chair, I do, just to clarify some things with both the applicant and the solicitor in relation to the conditions that are at the moment in the license, the one you proposed as amended by Lorna. I took the point of the chair saying about training, but I know that there are no training conditions in the current license. Are you willing to, if the members are going to review and decide tonight, and if they think it's appropriate, is the applicant willing to accept a condition about training the staff? It's not just about the sale of alcohol, but also on the licensable conditions and so on.
Hilda, do you want to go ahead or shall I go ahead?
Actually, 100%. Some of the objectives boxes are put as per current condition. A current condition on the current license does have training, but 100% whatever the councillors, the committee feels that they would like to add, the applicant would welcome it 100%.
Yeah, because I think the conditions are a bit old, so we would like to tie up whatever the decision will be made by the councillors tonight. I think it will be nice and a nice opportunity to tie up the conditions, the CCTV conditions, which need to reflect the current conditions that we have in our pool of conditions, Challenge 25 condition. I think you also proposed a condition to inform customers in relation to taxes, and you are willing to offer them numbers for them to have taxes and so on. So we can amend them just to be enforceable and
I can assure you, it would be most welcomed.
Thank you.
Okay. In that case, I think we have to go to sum up, please. Can I ask parties to sum up briefly as possible in the following order? The licensing officer, Lorna, please sum up.
Nothing further to add, Chair.
Okay. Alexis, can I ask you to sum up? A resident, that's 3 minutes, please. 3 minutes to sum up.
Yep. The premises have had 3 previous license applications rejected due to concerns about noise and disturbance to residents in 1995 and 1996, and again in 2011. Planning Inspectorate and Council denied extended hours, citing unacceptable levels of noise and disruption to the neighborhood. The original planning permission from 1984 limits operating hours to between 9 a.m. and 11 p.m. to protect residential amenities. Extending these hours would increase noise from customers and delivery activities, disturbing residents' sleep, especially those living directly above, next to, and nearby. It's not just a question of Top Speed Pizza using electric bikes, but also customers loitering around the premises. And that is of great concern to myself as a resident. The same issues of noise, antisocial behavior, and public nuisance are very likely to persist today, especially due to the close proximity of drinking establishments, such as the pub that I mentioned earlier. Extending the hours would likely worsen the situation, impacting the quality of life of residents. Therefore, I respectfully request that the license variation be denied. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexa. Can I ask now Hilda to sum up 3 minutes, please?
Nothing to add, Councillor.
Okay.
Thank you.
In that case, we have nothing to ask. Can I? The committee will now retire and take its decision in a separate room. You are welcome to remain in the meeting to hear committee's decision. However, this might take some time. If you don't want to wait, a summary decision will be published on Council's website tomorrow morning. Can I ask members to turn off their video, mute their microphone, and join me in the private deliberation? Okay, I'm in the Zoom now. Okay. Hello. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I think Hilda left, I think. I'm not too sure.
Okay, don't worry. Thank you for staying on.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Top Pizza 74 Fulham Palace Road, West 6 9 PL, the premises. The committee has considered an application for variation of existing premises license for extending the hours for late night refreshment and opening hours to the public, to amend the existing condition 11 attached to the license and to replace the existing plan under the Licensing Act 2003, the application. In summary, the committee has decided the committee has decided, after taking into account all the individual circumstances of this case and the promotion of 4 licensing objectives: 1, to grant the hours for late night refreshment as follows: late night refreshment indoors, ordering service only, Monday to Sunday, 23 hours to 1 o'clock. Late night refreshment delivery service only, Monday to Sunday, 23 hours to 300 hours. Second, the hours of this premises to open to the public as follows: Monday to Sunday, 11 to 1. Delivery service after 1 o'clock when the premises is closed to the public. 3, agreed to the amendment of existing condition 11. 4, agreed to replacement of existing plan. 5, to impose conditions proposed by the applicant in the operating schedule as amended by the committee. 6, to attend existing conditions, to amend the existing conditions attached to the licensing as agreed by the applicant at the hearing. 7, to add conditions to the license regarding staff training, staff being trained in the Sale of Alcohol Licensing Act and the conditions of the premises license. A copy of all this committee's decision, including its reasons, will be sent to the parties forthwith. If the applicant or any person has made a relevant to representation is unhappy with this decision, they are entitled to appeal to the magistrate court within 21 days from the date of notification to the full decision. Thank you. Now we have to move on to 274 Fulham Palace Road. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Chase. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm going to go and get the next one. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, Luna, is everyone here for the next one?
Yes, everyone is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Sorry for waiting. I'm sorry. I do apologize for the long waiting. Welcome to tonight's license subcommittee meeting. My name is Councillor Mercy Ume, and I'll be chairing tonight's meeting. The meeting is being held broadcast live on Council's YouTube channel. If I lose connection, Councillor Borokwan will take over for me. I would like to remind all participants the few housekeeping points. Please keep your microphone muted unless you are speaking. Please keep your camera turned on when you speak at the hearing. Please note that the chat function has been disabled. If parties wish to add any additional information other than their allocated time to speak, they must use the raise hand function so that they're not missed. I also ask that members keep their questions and comments brief to the point. I now move to item 1 on our agenda. Item 1 on our agenda, apologies for absence. None was received. Item 2, declaration of interests. Do members have any declaration of interest?
None from me, Chair.
None. Okay.
Neither from me.
Thank you. Item 3, 472 Fulham Palace, Fulham Road, London SW6 1BY. I would like to ask everyone participating to introduce yourself as I call on you. We should have with us, I call the first name, Nigel, Legal Director and Company Secretary. Nigel.
Good evening, Chair.
Thank you. We have Stuart, General Manager.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. We have James, Aerial Manager.
Evening, Chair. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. We have Katie, Senior Licensing Officer and Regulation Solicitor. Katie.
Good evening, Chair.
Thank you. We have Lorna.
Present, Chair.
Thank you. We have Karen,
Present,
Licensing
Chair.
Officer. Yeah. We have Gerta.
Present, Chair. Good evening.
Thank you. Now we have the objectors. We have Sarah.
Evening,
Sarah.
Councillor.
Okay, thank you. We have Daisy.
Evening, Councillor.
Thank you. We have Charlotte. Is she here? Do we have Charlotte?
She's here, Chair.
Okay, she's here.
Sorry, I'm here. I'm unmuted now. Sorry.
Okay. Charlotte is a resident, also representing John, Joanna, Martin, Adrian, and Alex. Yeah. Okay. We have Karen. Foye, who is a resident and is representing Rosine. Is he here?
Good evening. Yeah.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Now we go to the procedure. Before we begin, I can confirm that in addition to the main agenda, supplementary agenda A, containing additional information, was publicized and circulated to all parties on 14th of June 2024, and supplementary agenda B and C were published and circulated to all parties on 17th of June 2024. Before we consider the application today, please, may I quickly explain the procedure the committee will follow. We will hear from the following. The licensing officer will introduce the application, the objectors, and finally the applicant. Usually, each party will address the committee for a maximum of 5 minutes. Following presentation by all parties, the committee may ask questions of any party or other person present at the hearing, except committee members. No parties has the right to ask questions to any other party at any time during hearing. Following the presentation and questioning, each party will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to sum up their cases or representation. The committee will then retire on deliberation. For deliberation, upon its return, I will announce committee's decision. Now, can I ask the presenting officer, Lorna, to introduce the application?
Sorry, Chair, before I introduce the application, I think the applicant solicitor's got his hands raised.
Okay.
Chair, yes, sorry, could I just clarify whether or not the interested party, the local residents, are going to have a collective 5 minutes or an individual 5 minutes? I've no objection to the latter, but if it is to be the latter, I wonder whether or not you would allow me more time than my 5 minutes to respond, given the number of issues that might be raised. I think it would be helpful if you were to allow me to do so, Chair, but matter is for you, of course.
Correct. That will be done. Okay, not
Much
at the
obliged.
amount of, yes, so don't worry, we'll make sure you have the exact amount they spent. Okay.
I'm very grateful for that, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have Lorna.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. On the 26th of March 2024, JD Wetherspoons plc, the applicant, submitted an application for a new premises licence in respect of the premises known as 472 Fulham Road, London, SW6 1BY. The applicant proposes to operate as a two-storey pub restaurant occupying the site of the former ticket office in Fulham town centre. The premises proposes to operate as a traditional JD Wetherspoons, which will have no music and a substantial food offer. The applicant has applied for the following licensable activities: late night refreshment indoors and outdoors, Sundays to Thursday from 11 p.m. till midnight, and Friday and Saturday from 11 p.m. till 1 a.m. The sale of alcohol on and off the premises, Sunday to Thursday from 8 a.m. till 11:30 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays from 8 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. 12:30 a.m. sorry. And the hours proposed open to the public are Sunday to Thursday from 8 a.m. till midnight and Friday and Saturday from 8 a.m. till 1 a.m. The non-standard timings applied for all of these is that an additional hour on Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, Maundy, Thursday, Sundays preceding Bank Holiday Mondays, and New Year's Eve, the morning British Summer Time commences. The applicant has proposed a number of additional steps within the applicant's operating schedule to promote the four licensing objectives if the application is granted this evening. During the consultation period, the relicensing section received one representation from Lille Ward Councillor Ben Coleman, and one on behalf of the Barclay Road Residents Neighbourhood Watch, and 18 representations from local residents objecting to the licence application being granted this evening. The licensing section also received one representation of support from a local resident. And further to the main agenda, I can confirm that in addition to the main agenda, supplementary agenda items A containing additional information was published and circulated to all parties on the 14th of June, and supplementary agendas items B and C were published and circulated to all parties on the 17th of June. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Lorna. Now I have to go to our objectors. Can I have Sarah Chambers to 5 minutes? She's allowed to speak. Sarah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Chambers. I'm a local resident. I'm also acting co-chair of the Fulham Broadway ward panel. Fulham Green now. It used to be Fulham Broadway, and I was the chair of that for many, many years. I'm also the chair of the Independent Advisory Group to the Police for the Borough. And my main objections, or rather the collective objections, whilst we are very happy that the premises will be taken over and will be active once more, and we look forward to seeing Market Hall being in use again, the main objections from local residents relate to the hours, the off sales, and also concerns regarding the roof terrace and the access at the back there, and regarding the glass wall. Regarding the hours, it's the hours that are open, that are proposed for Friday and Saturday to 1 a.m. Residents would very much hope that these hours are capped to midnight. It's a very lively area, and there's also quite a heavy residential population down Harwood Road, which faces almost directly onto Wetherspoon, and directly behind it, you're going to hear shortly from a resident who lives on the Samuel Lewis estate, which backs directly onto Wetherspoons. So we would suggest that closing at midnight would be more acceptable to local residents. The off sales is a really big thing for local residents. Most of in fact, all of the licensed establishments in the area that sell alcohol to be consumed off the premises and have constraints around match day sales of alcohol. The proximity to Chelsea football ground at Stamford Bridge is less than 5 minutes walk. And as somebody who's sat through probably hundreds of ward panel meetings by now, and dealt with the police and with residents on an ongoing basis, on match days, we have a really big problem with antisocial behaviour, largely in the form of urination. This particularly impacts the Samuel Lewis, which is about 2 minutes walk from Wetherspoons, impacts the Oswald Stole and all the side streets. The issue is exacerbated by the fact that away fans are not allowed to enter the licensed establishments immediately around the ground. So they have nowhere to go to the loo, instead of which they urinate in public, in front of children, out of the site, on the main road. They go down all the side streets, and in this, we think that the off sales of alcohol would exacerbate this problem. We're working, as you know, with Chelsea Football Club about this at the moment, but there is no kind of magic answer to this issue. So we would very much like offer alcohol sales to either not be allowed at all, or for at least there to be constraints on match days. My last point is just with regard to the roof terrace and the glass roof. Local residents, particularly those on Samuel Lewis, who back onto this premises, would very much like the roof terrace not to be used after 10 p.m. at night, so it doesn't disturb their sleep. We're also really concerned about the safety there, because there is a large glass roof and there's very easy access onto that roof and all the roofs along that stretch of the Fulham Road for young people. This is a known hazard. I have personally written on behalf of the ward panel to every single freeholder down that stretch of Fulham Broadway. We've had numerous meetings with TfL, etc. Nobody has kind of grasped the bullet and said that they'll be the first premises to put up satisfactory measures. There are children running on the roofs there. It is a really big hazard. Sooner or later, there's going to be a serious injury. I know this doesn't relate directly to the actual terms and conditions, but I'm just asking that Wetherspoons work with the residents to address this issue, because we've been trying to get this resolved for 3 or 4 years. We're fearful that a young person will either seriously injure themselves.
Sarah, I have to stop you. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Councillor.
Thank you very much. And can I have Daisy, please, to speak 5 minutes? Is Daisy here?
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, my name is Daisy Armstrong. I am a resident on Samuel Lewis Trust. I am also a board member of Southern Housing Trust and a member of the Walham Green panel. I'm also a disabled resident, so I have a number of points that I would like to make. The external roof terrace we're really concerned about as residents, because it's actually in an echo chamber where it's positioned. There's lots of tall buildings around it. So that's particularly going to be, and all the buildings are residential flats. And that is going to cause a lot of noise and nuisance, and possibly also attract the children who it's adjacent to a football pitch, which will mean that that's where the children actually access onto the roof. So there might be much more interest in climbing onto the roof because of that. That's my first point. I also am concerned about the patrons of Wetherspoons actually spilling out onto the front pavement, which is a very busy thoroughfare to Fulham Broadway. Not only would it cause a hindrance and a danger, but you might also have intoxicated patrons there, which would cause possible discomfort and situations, such as sexist comments, things like that to passers-by, and being disabled, it's actually quite difficult sometimes to walk along that pavement with so many people around, particularly, I don't go out on match days, but it's a big issue on match days. So I would like some restrictions to make sure that the revellers don't go outside to smoke, for example. The off sales is a huge issue because, as Sarah has already explained, we have a huge problem with ASB, and it's not just from the Chelsea supporters or on Chelsea match days, but it's throughout the time. There's quite a few pubs that congregate on the Fulham Broadway, and quite often people will find areas to do drug deals or drug taking. They'll also come on to Samuel Lewis Trust to be sick and to urinate. So having some off sales will then mean that it's another a way for them to carry on and slip into the privacy of Samuel Lewis Trust, where it's also known there is no CCTV. And so Fulham Broadway is heavily monitored, but our estate isn't. So that's why we have lots of ASB coming onto our estate. And finally, I would like to say that the issue with the children actually accessing onto the roof, as Sarah has explained, has been ongoing for many years. We've been working incredibly hard with a lot of the stakeholders to try and find some solutions. Southern Housing, who is the landlord of Southern Housing, Samuel Lewis Trust, has done all the work that they have been able to, which is to put a net over the football pitch, because initially the children were trying to collect their footballs from the roof. But now it's just turned into an adventure. So there needs to be some kind of measure to prevent the children from actually going onto the roof. And we would really like to work with Wetherspoons as well as all the other stakeholders. And part of the additional supplementary letter that's been sent through is from Southern Housing, who have agreed to work with whoever needs to be done, which is really good progress. And so it's a really positive way forward. And
Okay.
finally, I would just like to say we really welcome that it is being vacated.
Okay, please. Thanks. And
thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. Can I have Charlotte to speak? Charlotte, you have about 30 minutes to speak, because you are speaking on behalf of John, Joanna, Martin, Adrian, Alex. Okay.
Yes, I won't take 30 minutes, as you can imagine. Okay. But I have spoken to each of these residents today, yesterday, over the weekend, and last week. So the resounding issues are the same. You can hear them already. I would like to start with the issue about the roof terrace, the children, the party wall, and so on. This does, in fact, very much relate to 2 of the 4 licensing objectives, specifically public safety, as well as preventing children from being harmed in any way during licensable hours. So we totally understand that the concentration here on this effort is about what's happening during licensable hours and whatever can get done properly so that this space is safe and protected and is not attracting children to climb up onto rooftops, et cetera, will then assist beyond those hours. But let's, we now have hours from 8 a.m. Proposed until 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, and midnight until from Sunday to Thursday. So those proposed hours are basically the time that these problems have been happening. So in fact, the work that Daisy has done as a board member of Southern Housing over the last few weeks has been incredible to get them to write the letter that you saw in supplementary C, that they now are fully aware of the problems and they're willing to work with TFL and Weatherspoons and Nextdoor and so on and so forth. So it's really important for us that the committee understands that this has very, very much to do with 2 of the 4 licensing objectives. And we are looking to Weatherspoons to commit to leading this this effort. We weren't able to, in our calls with Weatherspoons, get really that far because the letter from Southern only came in on Friday, but we now have it, and we would greet the committee discussing this with Weatherspoons tonight in some way. The next thing is about off sales. It's already been mentioned a few times. Clearly, Weatherspoons has various means of dealing with off sales, and I discussed this with Katie Doyle, the legal counsel, a few times on the phone, and she assured me that they cover everything, and everything goes out in sealed bottles and all that. But we know that, we know all about those types of basic conditions. We're more concerned about the pavement. We're concerned about the area around Fulham Broadway. Once the building across the street from the proposed premises opens up as a boutique hotel, it's probably not in anybody's interest that a lot of people are spilling out on the pavement with what are now called plastic pints, which Parliament allowed from the 23rd of September, the committee will know, which is understandable. It's all part of post-COVID pro-business. But right here in Fulham Broadway, we have huge, huge problems. And that's why the police and Sarah and the ward panel are asking specifically that some conditions be put. Well, no, it's not conditions. The application is for on sales and off sales. We're asking that the application be changed to on sales. That's what we're asking for. So technically, legally, that's what's going on. And I also would ask the committee to realize that a lot of residents don't know all the technicalities of these things, and they think they're asking for a condition. But in this case, we're asking actually for an on-sales application, which would be an agreement between Weatherspoons tonight and the committee that they'll just pull off sales. So that's that point. We're concerned about the hours. That's been brought up mainly because crime has risen, unfortunately, almost 10% over in Hammersmith and Fulham. We have a lot of problems in Fulham Broadway with several venues that are closed, that have been closed by the police, especially one pub, which everybody knows about, which we're not here to talk about tonight. We have Whole Foods just left to go to the King's Road. The boutique hotel that's coming at some point is boarded up at this point. They're working on it. There are guardians in there 24 hours a day. And the owner told me he has guardians in there specifically because it's not enough to have passive security in Fulham Broadway. So that's just the stance that we have from a crime disorder ASB nuisance standpoint around here, with beautiful little roads everywhere and the very nice Samuel Lewis Trust right next door, and so on. We have pedestrian ways and everything. It all looks like it's all fine, but when you just get under the surface, unfortunately, there's a lot of negativity that's happening here from a crime disorder, drug sales, drug abuse standpoint, homelessness, etc. So we ask Weatherspoons to really think about suggesting tonight that they would agree to Friday and Saturdays until midnight. That would give them 7 days a week until midnight. Again, we can only ask that as residents, as interested parties. It has to happen tonight in conjunction with Weatherspoons speaking directly with the committee members. We're also concerned about, in this vein, about an 8 a.m. alcohol start. Again, it's all the same arguments. So putting all that down, especially on weekdays when children are passing by this place to go to school. Thousands of, well, many, no, at least thousands of them, because the Fulham Boys School takes 900 students on its own. The Oratory School takes 15 to 1,700. Lady Margaret's and so on and so forth, all kinds of schools. So here, you know, we just think, okay, the tendency is to put in for TEMS, 26 times a year so you can get 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever you want. But could you please put in for TEMS, and could we have 10 o'clock, please? We don't really, there are a lot of people around Fulham Broadway that seek out the one pub that, you know, opens the earliest. And I won't tell you their names, but I do know their names because I sometimes sit in these pubs to get to know people and to get a sense of what's going on in our area. So I don't really think that's what you want in your pub at 8 o'clock in the morning, to be very honest. We ask you as residents to agree to 10 a.m. for alcohol sales. We fully understand that you're going to open at 8 o'clock and have breakfast and so on, and coffee and, you know, all that. That's wonderful. But we are asking you to agree with the committee for 10 o'clock in the morning as alcohol start. Finally, I put together in supplemental B, page 57, I put, unfortunately, the picture didn't come out for some reason, although when I sent it, it came up, but it just shows that glass structure from the inside of what was the old tube station, which probably some of the committee do remember. And I also mentioned that, as you know, Councillor Coleman can't be here tonight because of the party, because of the announcement of the election, obviously, but he has expressed his concern. And I spoke with him the other day, and he asked us to, really push for these things that he wrote in his representation. And I updated him on the new development about Southern Housing, writing basically a letter to the committee, which Daisy put in as a supplemental as well. So he was glad to hear about that. And that's really all, I'm not speaking, of course, we can't speak on a councillor's behalf, but we are grateful for the time that he took to write a few lines to the committee. Finally, I'd just like to say that we're always at odds with ourselves about how to supply you with evidence regarding the crime and disorder. It's something that we would like to speak with the committee as a whole about what they need, because we feel that we've been at these committee meetings and certain councillors have asked for statistics, or they've asked for the police. The police aren't here to answer your questions. And it's kind of a gap that we're finding is growing instead of finding some solutions. So that would be interesting if we could speak with you at some time about that in some way. Perhaps residents could meet with councillors who are on the committee, for instance. Okay, so that's, yes, so those are my points at this time. And I thank you for listening and taking into consideration the time and effort and resource that individual residents have put, as well as I'm representing my road, Barclay Road residents, and we have a very active group here, and we're 100 people plus, and we are always grateful to be able to participate in these hearings. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. You didn't take up that 30 minutes that was offered, so thank you. I'm going to ask Karen to speak, and he's going to speak on behalf of Roshin, and so he has 10 minutes to speak. Is he here?
Chair.
Oh.
He's not here. I just sent him an email reminding him to come back, but I think he had left too. Yep.
Okay.
He had to leave. Yeah, next time, if we can ask, maybe he needed to really speak first. He had to leave, so I'm sorry. He apologizes.
Oh,
Okay.
So so what happens with Rosine? Can I ask our officer to advise on that, legal officer? Gertrude, what do you suggest? Gerta?
Well, Chair, you have the written representation, so if the local residents are not here, we can rely on the written representations.
Okay, so we're not going to have Karen and Roshin. So I'm going to go straight to Nigel now to speak. And in that case, Nigel, you have 25 minutes to speak.
I hope I'll be quicker than that, Chair. Thank you very, very much indeed. I won't go through the application. I can confirm it was as outlined by your licensing officer in her initial submissions. What I can say, and I was going to deal with it further down the line, but I'll deal with it now. Obviously heard the representations regarding the 8 o'clock start time for the sale of alcohol. Just having reviewed that, Chair, in respect of our other premises in the borough, we've got 2 in Hammersmith and we have got 1 in Shepherd's Bush. All those premises actually allow sale of alcohol from 9 a.m. in the morning. So I'm more than happy to amend the application to ensure that alcohol starts from 9 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, you've heard representations that the sale should start slightly later. But I did just want to bring it into line with our other premises in the borough. I agree that 8 o'clock is perhaps early, even by Wetherspoon standards. So I just wanted to deal with that point from the outset. In respect of the conditions which are in the operating schedule of the application, I can confirm that they were agreed after extensive discussions with the Metropolitan Police, to particularly promote, of course, the prevention of crime and disorder licensing objective. And if you grant the license today, clearly, Chair, they'll appear as conditions on the premises license which is granted. And you'll note, and hopefully the interested parties will note as well, that there were a set of specific steps agreed with the police in respect of match days at Stamford Bridge, which clearly from the very cogent submissions made by the interested parties is a particular concern, and I'll deal with the issue of outside drinking in that context a little bit later. Just in respect of the company itself, Chair, I mean, we're a well-established company. We've been operating since 1979. We've currently 840 premises in the UK, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. We have a very strong presence in South West London, 3 premises already in the borough, as well as others in Putney, etc., or the surrounding suburbs of London. We've been very much at the forefront of developments in the hospitality industry in the time that we've been operating, access to families, breakfast opening, increased availability of food, and these are still very much key characteristics of our pubs and will be a characteristic of the pub that we hope to open in Fulham. It's a 2-storey site. I don't know whether you've had a chance, Chair, you and your colleagues, to look at the plan of the premises. This is where actual physical hearing actually helps, because I can point you to the various bits on the plan, but Zoom doesn't allow me to do that. But if you've seen the plans, you'll see that the main customer area and the bar servery is on the ground floor of the premises, along with all the toilet provision and the kitchen. There's only 1 customer entrance, and that's from Fulham Road, which greatly assists in that people can monitor, staff can monitor who's coming in and who's going out of the premises. There's a smaller customer area on the first floor of the premises, together with an external terrace, small external terrace to the side of the premises, which is only accessible from inside the premises. There'll be full digital CCTV coverage of the customer area, both in and out, CCTV coverage of back of house areas, the front and back elevations of the premises as well. So very, very complete CCTV coverage of the premises. So very open premises, Chair, in terms of its layout inside, which allows for easy management, and that much of the ground floor really can be monitored from the bar. But we have lots of managers who are out front of house, clearing tables, delivering food, etc. Very much a presence, monitoring customers and ensuring that no problems arise. It will be a traditional JD Wetherspoons. There's no music or entertainment of any type sort. There's no disco or karaoke. Be a very heavy emphasis on food. I provided the menus in the, I think they're in supplemental agenda A. You've seen the food menus there. That food will be available until 11 p.m. Every night. Breakfast will be available from opening until noon. Food sales for all the hospitality industry, including pubs, are more and more crucial. Probably in terms of our most recent openings, 50% of our sales come from food. And if you tie in the alcohol which is sold with that food, probably about 70% of our trade is food related. There's a high number of tables and chairs, as you'll see from the plans, Chair, to accommodate diners. What we don't do in Wetherspoon pubs is to remove any of those tables and chairs to accommodate vertical drinking. So the layout and number of tables and chairs, of covers as we call them, that you'll see on the plans, will remain in situ. We're not suddenly going to turn it into a vertical drinking establishment. It's very much geared towards dining, and those tables and chairs reflect that, as does the very large size of the kitchen, which you'll see on the ground floor. There's no happy hours or time-led promotions, Chair. Most of our promotions are tied in with food, for example. There are no time-led promotions like happy hours, which compel people to drink quicker than they might for reasons of value. All our main meals come with a drink, both alcoholic or non-alcoholic, as well as our lunchtime deli deal offer, so you can get a non-alcoholic drink or an alcoholic drink with those meals as well. So the result, Chair, I don't know how familiar you are with our pubs, is that they offer a really very broad customer base. It's really crucial to what we do. They don't attract a particular type of clientele, youngsters or football fans or any particular type of customer. We don't aim for that. Really what we offer is something for everyone at all times of the day. We do offer good value food and drink, which means that price isn't a barrier to people who want to come and use our pubs, which is very important in the current cost of living climate, and really make our pubs what they are. And you'll note that from the letter of support in respect to the application. Chair, I've read all the representations, as indeed has Mr. Wade and Mr. Cobley, who will be the individuals who will be ultimately responsible for operating this premises alongside the manager. I should say that all our pubs are managed, they're not tenanted, so we have a high degree of control as to how pubs are operated. We ensure that all our policies and procedures that we've developed over a long time are implemented as a consequence of that. I have written to the interested parties on a fairly general basis, providing some reassurance on some of the concerns expressed in their letters of representation, which hopefully will have been of benefit. I've obviously heard the very sort of cogent submissions from the interested parties today, and I'll try and address those really specifically. I think there are three main issues, Chair, really: the hours, off sales, and the issues regarding access to the roof. So I'm going to deal with those three issues in some detail as opposed to deal with more general issues. What I will say, I'm very welcome to hear that the residents are appreciative of coming and occupying the building, and very much hope that we can, if you grant the licence, that we can respond to that welcome in terms of how we operate the premises. In respect of hours, Chair, note the concerns raised regarding the sale of alcohol after midnight and the risk of that exacerbating crime and disorder. That only applies Friday and Saturday, as I think, as Dexter pointed out. For the rest of the week, sale of alcohol finishes at 11:30, with the premises closing at midnight. So it's just an extra 30 minutes on Friday and Saturday for sale of alcohol that the application seeks, i.e. the bar will close at midnight on Friday and midnight on Saturday. These hours are within the framework hours in your licensing policy, Chair. And they're not out of kilter with equivalent premises in the area. A very helpful table on page 92 and page 93 of the main agenda. We have liaised with the police, as I've said, and they've no objection to the application in respect of the hours sought, and the hours are in accordance with the planning permission for the premises, which was granted in July of last year. We're also rarely, like most pubs, at peak capacity at close. A lot of trade is really based around food, as I've said. Our peak times are probably up to around 10 o'clock. And after that, we tend to find that customers gradually drift away, which obviously helps us manage customers leaving the premises later on. It also means that any risk of disturbance to residents nearby, any risk of crime and disorder is minimised. I note in the policy, Chair, that the council quite rightly expects every holder of a licence to accept and be responsible and these are words in the policy statement, for minimising the impact of their activities and antisocial behaviour by their patrons within the vicinity of their premises by taking appropriate measures and action consistent with that responsibility. Chair, I just reiterate that really we fully accept that responsibility, and we will discharge that by having a large amount of policies and procedures in place that we've developed over our years of trading. Some of those would be Challenge 21, whereby anybody under the age of who looks under the age of 21 is challenged to provide ID to prove that they're over the age of 18. We have a don't do drunk policy in which all our staff are trained, which helps them identify the signs of intoxication and means that anybody who is at the risk of intoxication is prevented from purchasing any more alcohol. All these policies are regularly trained. We have an incident reporting system. We have a full CCTV system in operation, and we engage with local authorities really on an ongoing basis. Our area managers contact the licensing officer of the police every month, have liaison with them on an ongoing basis to deal with any issues which may arise, either to do with the premises or in respect of the locality which they're in. Ultimately, Chair, the matter of the hours which we seek are clearly a matter for committee, but you may consider that a terminal hour of midnight for sale of alcohol Friday and Saturday is a sort of appropriate landing point between what the residents are concerned about and what we seek in the application. If you are minded to reduce the hours, but it's a matter for the committee's discretion, of course. In respect of external drinking, I know a lot of the issues relate to football match days. We've always tended to find, because we have lots of pubs that operate near very large football stadiums, in London and beyond, that consumption of alcohol away from licensed premises is generally done with alcohol purchase from off licenses or supermarkets rather than pubs, because people tend to go to a pub because they want to be in a pub and have the atmosphere of a pub. They don't tend to buy alcohol and then take it away from the pub to consume on the street. It's more expensive and it's not as transportable as buying a 4-pack of cans from the off license. But what I can say, Chair, and to give some comfort to the residents, is we are happy to have a restriction on off sales on the premises. It's not our intention that people will drink alcohol at the front of the premises. It's not something we allow on football match days or on other days at our other pubs in the borough, except in areas where there is a pavement licence. But there is a planning permission restriction which says there's going to be no tables and chairs to the front of the premises. So there'll be no drinking at the front of these premises, Chair, and happy to have a condition on the licence restricting off sales. What I would say, and it's a legal point, is that our external terrace doesn't form part of the licensed premises. So anybody who is drinking there, consuming alcohol there, is doing so by virtue of off sales. So what I would suggest is a condition which says there should be no off sales at the premises, save for consumption in the first floor external area of the premises, which means there's going to be nobody out on the street drinking, which is a major concern of the local residents. There are also conditions in the operating schedule agreed with the police which go to that, but essentially this condition will override those and give the comfort I'm sure the residents want to avoid those very unfortunate incidents which are happening on football match days. We really would like to assist in that, and obviously people drinking on our premises will be able to use the toilets in our premises, which will be help, I would imagine. We have other pubs in the borough. They also deal with football fans on match days in Shepherd's Bush, William Morris, Plough and Harrow, Putney as well, not in the borough, but deals with football fans from Fulham, etc. So we're very well used to liaising with the police and local residents to deal with issues on match days, and certainly should the application be granted, when the premises open, we'll be liaising with the football liaison officer in advance of any football matches which take place. We have a very good pre-existing relationship with them. In terms of smoking at the front of the premises, this was mentioned in passing by Ms Dexter. We will intend to allow customers to smoke at the front of the premises. It is the public pavement. We can't really stop them, but we won't allow them to take alcohol out there, which means that they'll go outside for their cigarette and then they'll go back into the premises for their drink, which we've always found mitigates any issues. We certainly don't want people causing obstruction to people going by, causing obstruction to people coming in the premises. The front of the premises is our shop window, and we don't want people annoying passes by, as was the fear. But I think those policies and procedures will address that point. Chair, in respect of the physical safety of the premises, I'm not fully sure that I agree with Ms Dexter insofar as it engages the licensing objectives, because I think the issues arise from activities which aren't really related to licensable activities. But it's a moot point, because as she indicated, we've had some liaison with the Berkeley Road Residents Association already on this point, and I can commit that we will fully work with residents, with the authorities, with other occupiers of the centre to deal with the issue of people accessing the roof in general. More than happy to give that commitment and fully welcome the intervention of the Southern Housing Association in respect of their letter. I've already spoken to the project architect today, put them on notice of the issue. They were aware of it, and we'll be happy to liaise with whoever needs to be liaised with to ensure that this problem is addressed. In terms of what we're doing in respect of these particular premises, we will have a 5.5 foot glass balustrade around the exterior of the external terrace. We shall have a 2 metre 6 foot filigree barrier which separates the inside of the terrace from the roof, which is to ensure safety of our customers primarily in that area, but will also be an obstacle to anybody who does access that area. There is an emergency stairwell leading down to the ground floor exterior to the premises from the first floor terrace. That's not particularly secure at the moment, and we will bring that to the attention of the landlord. But when we take on the premises and develop it, we will make that door secure. It will only be able to be opened if there is a fire. There will be a magnetic lock on it, which is only activated when the fire alarm goes off. So nobody will be able to come up to that external terrace area from outside of the premises. So I think, Chair, in essence, that was that. I sort of concentrated specifically on the issues raised by the residents, which hopefully is more helpful than me going into more general submissions about Wetherspoons, its history, what we do, etc. But what I do have is obviously Mr. Cobley and Mr. Wade, who are very experienced operators of our pubs, who are here to answer any sort of specific questions that you may have in respect of the application, Chair. And I'm grateful for the additional time that you've given me to hopefully explain some of the ways we're going to address the licensing objectives in respect of these premises. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Nigel. Now I'm going to ask committee members. Can committee members ask questions about the application in issues that have been raised at the hearing in relation to 4 licensing objectives: the prevention of crime and disorder, the public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and protection of children from harm? So can I ask, Councillor Borok-Won, please.
Thank you, Chair. Firstly, thank you to all the residents who've sort of tuned in on this very nice evening to give your comments. I've got a lot of sympathy with the troubles that you have with the football. I represent a ward on the other side of the borough where we have problems with the QPR fans going through on match days, and I've heard exactly the sort of same kind of problems with ASB and so on. I know it's an ongoing issue. So while we love and are quite proud of having 3 football clubs in the borough, I know that sometimes quite often comes at the detriment to the people that live in and around the stadium. So I think that as a new sort of institution that could be coming into the area of Wetherspoons, I think that you've got a great opportunity to try and sort of work in conjunction with the residents. With regards to the morning alcohol sales, so I think we all know that Wetherspoons is sort of very popular for breakfast. In terms of maybe if I could ask the 2 managers who know about the operations, what kind of alcohol drinks do you tend, if any, do you sell at that time? So let's say like 9 AM to 11, 12 in the mornings.
Hi there. I'm happy to take that question. Just quickly, I've worked for Wetherspoons for 24 years. I look after 65 pubs in and around London and the southeast. I think really the amount of alcohol we sell in those early hours is not actually very much at all. What we tend to get is a lot of retired chaps post office workers, night shift workers, and they might have a pint. We sell quite a few ales, but we certainly wouldn't see the likes of our cocktails, our spirits, etc., which are more concentrated in the evening.
Okay, thank you. And with regards to the concession that was made about the off-sale premises, which is very welcome to hear, can I just double check that that also applies to the sort of drinking up end of the day thing? So where customers haven't been able to finish their pints, their drinks. At the moment, in a lot of places, they're offered it in a plastic cup. And I think that is quite often a worry of people sort of, staggering out with sort of large drinks and so on. Would the concession that you've offered cover that as well?
It would, Chair, and that's simply not something which we permit or encourage at our premises. You won't be allowed to take alcohol away on that basis at the end of the night.
Okay. I've been on a few hearings with Charlotte before, so I know that she is sort of very, very invested in sort of making sure that the area is both safe but also, has a vibrant high street. So from that point of view, so there is an opportunity for sort of Wetherspoons to be a valuable kind of new business to the area. Charlotte, one of the things I know that we've talked about with other premises in the area are holding regular sort of meetings on an annual or a biannual basis with residents groups to address any issues, particularly with the newer. Sorry, I'm addressing Charlotte because I know she's representing quite a lot of people and has done this, but I'm really happy to hear from the other residents who are attending the meeting as well. Do you find those meetings helpful? Would you welcome an opportunity to do that with Wetherspoons, given the size of the establishment that they're proposing to open and operate?
Yes, of course, with the caveat, however, that I think that these types of meetings should be more resident-led and resident-requested, because when they're put in as a condition or something, a condition is also, can you really take somebody to jail for not having a resident meeting? I mean, it isn't a crime, right? But anyway, any kind of language like that, unfortunately, with some of the places around here, it becomes very de rigueur. They have their meeting, they bring in the lawyers, everything's wonderful. We complain about this and that. Police don't really show up at those meetings unless they're really somehow cajoled to do so. They used to. So we don't have any support or power. Whereas, for instance, in this situation with the housing trust and so on, if that could be almost pretty much resident-led, and when we get where we need to get, we'd like to at least inform the licensing committee, in a letter or something like that. But as time goes on, it'll take some time and so on. And it'll be a good news story in the end, which is great. But, we have a situation with Chelsea Football Ground where they're now having meetings every 8 weeks. And, residents feel it's a rigged meeting, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, they really feel that they're not in control. They don't have any legal counsel. Chelsea comes with, the entity comes with all their legal people and all their PR people. And they kind of agree to not agree about too much. So it's been a challenge for us. I mean, we've made some progress here and there, and we want to make some more progress. So, in fact, meeting with Wetherspoons, kind of in the way that I've discussed here, and let's say, let's have 2 or 3 meetings in the next year, and let's work together as Fulham Broadway community, and let's report back to the licensing committee. I'm all for that. And that would be great,
Okay.
real mutual stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate this takes a lot of time and organisation that you're giving up and volunteering as a resident volunteer as well. So thank you.
Sorry,
Chair,
Councillor, just to add on that point, we're more than happy to attend any form of meeting that the residents would like, whether it's attending their regular residents meetings that they have amongst themselves as a guest, or organising them at the pub, or organising them on neutral territory. it would be Mr. Wade or Mr. Cobley or the premises manager who would attend, perhaps sometimes assisted by my colleague Katie Doyle, who the residents have been liaising with already. But she would be the extent of the legal representation we will be sending. We were not going to bring PR people. It's very informal. The idea is that it's constructive, just exchange of views. Either way, we hear what the issues are, we can then say how they're going to be addressed. The next meeting, we can see whether or not they have been addressed. So we don't want them there just for the sake of taking place. We do have them in respect of other pubs, and we do find they're really valuable. So happy to commit on this occasion, Chair, to Councillor, to whatever meetings of the residents want.
Okay, well, my next question probably would have been to you to ask whether you would be willing to, and I think you've had the feedback on how you make these meetings kind of meaningful and resident led and so on. So, Chair, I think there's a couple of residents who are the objectors who have got their hands up. So I'll defer back to you. I haven't got any further questions at this point.
Thank you, Councillor. Can I ask Daisy? And Daisy, remember, you do not have to ask questions. Can I have your comments?
I think there's just three main aspects to do with this. The one is obviously, hopefully going to be quite a temporary measure, which is about the roof and providing some meetings so that can be resolved. There's always one which is long-standing, which is about crime and disorder, and I'm sure Sarah will talk about that, attending the ward meeting. And I just wanted to also make you aware that Chelsea are engaging a lot with residents at the moment, and they're doing a Pride in the Bridge campaign, and so it'd be really great if Wetherspoons could actually engage with that as well. It's all about their supporters being respectful in the area, and so if that could be something that they could...
Okay, Daisy. It's just to make a comment, and your 3 minutes is coming up later. So can I, Sarah, I saw your hand up before. Sarah, please, just a comment. It's not time to make.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that that obviously we invite the manager of Wetherspoons to attend the ward panel meetings. It would also be helpful if the manager also joined Pub Watch, which I believe is at the moment run by Jonathan Willard, who is head of the Fulham BID, the Business Improvement District. We've always found in the past that Pub Watch works really well because I've attended a couple of meetings before in the past. Obviously, all the managers swap best practice, what trends they're seeing emerging, etc. If there are any particular individuals who they're concerned at, for their either for their well-being, if there's any kind of issues like spiking, theft, things like that, or assault, because I think we're also mindful as residents of the well-being of the workers in the pubs, particularly on match days. And lastly, I do think that, just general meetings about the roof and to come and see what we mean about how quick it is for the children to get up onto the roof. It literally takes 20 seconds and they are on that roof running around. And that's why we need specific safety measures at the very back of the premises to stop them coming up on the wall. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. Councillors, any other councillor that want to speak? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and I must say that Nigel has already explained everything in details of what the Wetherspoon will be doing. And I have to remind the residents that we do really feel concern about the children, but remind that the licensing law does not apply about sealing or whatever they're going to be doing with that. That's not why the licensing opportunity requires. And for that, I'm happy that Nigel has said he's going to be meeting you people so you can discuss all those issues of concerns and find a way they are going to be dealing with those issues of children climbing up those ceiling. So my question to Nigel or to the other is that I'm kind of concerned about the rooftop in terms of noise at times, you know, and pollution and noise coming from there. So could you tell me how you're going to stop the noise, the light pollution coming from there?
Well, there'll be no use by customers for any reason after 2300, which is what we're proposing, which is in accordance with the restriction imposed by the planner's chair. So there would be no need for lighting of that specific area at that time. I mean, there'd be a degree of light coming from the premises anyway, simply because of its design and the large glass roof. But in terms of lighting in that area, after the premises or after that area closes, there won't be any specific lighting. There will be emergency lighting, but that will only kick in if it's required, if there's an emergency exit necessitating access through that area. So that should be addressed by that. In respect of noise, obviously fully conscious that we do have residential properties to the rear. 2300 is a restriction which is imposed on that area, but my experience is that where we have had issues before with noise from similar terraces, we've always been very responsible and trimmed hours accordingly, even though we're allowed to operate till later. If it's clear that issues are being caused, we will curtail the hours to ensure that no disturbance is being caused to local residents, but would like the opportunity at this stage to trade till 2300 up there. But that's one of those issues, Chair, isn't it, which the residents' meetings are ideally designed to deal with, and would ask that we be given that opportunity, but with a commitment that if there are issues caused, then we address it with our residents directly as and when we open, rather than adopting a more restrictive position at this stage.
Thank you. And you know, you mentioned that about having tables on the pavements. You are not going to do that, which is, you know, concern because of what Daisy was saying about going about, you know. So I think for me, you have covered few of the things, and I hope that you'll be able to work with the residents regarding their concern about the roof. I know you mentioned it as well, that, you know, you're going to put a block there that people will not come in. So I don't have much questions. Apart from everything you said, you know, is fairly okay, I could say. Do any members have more questions to ask?
I have one, Chair.
Okay.
It's for Lorna. Do any of the other 3 Wetherspoons, have they had any licensing issues that you're aware of? Has anything ever been flagged?
If you'd have to, well, without looking at the system now, I wouldn't be aware, but I can have a look into it and get back to you, just to see if there's anything. And just something that I want to add that was omitted actually, just from the report. There is a current premises license for this premises, which is held by a management company's landlord. Obviously, this is a separate application that we are considering this evening. It was omitted from the report, but there is currently another active premises license that's suspended for this premises. So I just wanted to make the committee aware of that. But I'll have a look into the complaints of the Wetherspoons and get back to you.
Yeah, I don't have any more questions. Do members have more questions? Like I said, Nigel covered most of my questions, so I don't have much questions.
Nothing further for me, Chair.
Nothing further for me either. Now, I'm going to ask the sum up. I'm going to ask the licensing officer, Lorna, to sum up. Lorna, have you got anything to sum up? Hello? Lorna? Oh God, have I gone again?
Froze. No, I haven't got anything
to sum up. Okay. Sarah,
further to add, but I'll have a look. Hello?
Yeah, okay. What are you saying?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Can anybody hear her? It looks
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me now? Sorry, my laptop froze. I have nothing further to add at the minute, but I'll have a quick look at the enforcement thing if that's still needed.
Okay, all right. Sarah Chambers, could you sum up 3 minutes? You're allowed 3 minutes to sum up.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the interesting discussion this evening. We're very much looking forward to working with Wetherspoons. We appreciate the suggestion that Wetherspoons amend their hours to start at 9 a.m. I think that would go down well. And also the suggestion from council that they finish sales at midnight on Friday and Saturday. That would be really appreciated by local residents. As with regard to the off sales, we would very much appreciate if off sales are not allowed on match days only, just because we think the potential for increased antisocial behaviour and urination in particular in Samuel Lewis Estate, Oswald Stole and the surrounding area, surrounding streets, it's just going to multiply an existing problem, which has been going on for years, and we don't have a solution to yet. As Daisy said, we are working with Chelsea Club, with the football club to work on this with their Pride scheme, but there's been no significant improvement so far. And we look forward to working with Wetherspoons with regard to the roof terrace and the glass roof and the particular kind of physical issues that there are at the back of the property. And we appreciate the premises not using the roof terrace after 11 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Then can I have Daisy to speak? You have 3 minutes, Daisy.
I really appreciate the fact that Wetherspoons are going to be so vigilant about training and ensuring their staff are managing the premises really well. My concern is that when the punters actually leave the premises a lot of the time, and with Chelsea being in such close proximity, which is unlike Shepherd's Bush and the Hammersmith branch to the Fulham branch, that's going to cause much more aspects that need to be of concern. So for that reason, I again agree with Sarah on that, which is that the licensing hours and off sales should be different on match days in light of that. I would also like consideration being taken to them actually controlling the smokers that are outside, because that is going to cause a huge hindrance to a lot of the local residents, particularly disabled residents and people with children, and the influence as well to do with the local young children and youngsters and school children, things like that outside. And in terms of the I really appreciate the fact that they would engage with us going about the roof issue. But I think what they need to realise is that TfL have had to replace part of the glass on there twice and fix it. So it's not just a danger to the children who are actually climbing onto the glass roof, it's also a danger to their clientele, because if someone goes through that roof or even damages the roof, then something could happen to the people below and even their staff. So actually, this is a safeguarding issue in terms of everyone who's using the venue, as well as the children actually accessing the roof. So this is why it's such a major concern.
Thank you, Daisy. Can I ask Charlotte to, you have 18 minutes to sum up.
Yeah, I'll just take a few minutes. I think most of the other residents who wrote in, and definitely Berkeley Road residents, feel that it would be easiest if we just had no off sales downstairs, i.e. the ground floor, because now I understand that upstairs, the roof terrace is a bit different. I.e. no off sales happening. So whether that's a change in the application or whether that's a condition, the legal people know that. And also just something about no drinking out front so that it's very clear to your SIA staff and your managers and so on. And there are just no exceptions ever. If you start doing match days and the event day, Chelsea is trying to push for a lot more events. And, where do you draw the line? And is it really worth it? Because these antisocial behavior problems and this disorder problems are increasing around Fulham Broadway, unfortunately. So I was wondering if Nigel could speak with the committee about no off sales downstairs on the ground floor and no drinking out front, or whatever that means. The other thing is we greet the idea of midnight very much, and again, we would say, a lot of residents would say, could we just have midnight every night? Makes it very simple. Also, Nigel did intimate something about 10 a.m., which we certainly would agree with wholeheartedly. That's where we started the discussion. So again, I'll leave it to him in his summing up, perhaps to explain whether he's willing to do 10 a.m. 7 days a week, which we would greet. And if not, okay, fine, then, 9:30, we would compromise. I don't know. I mean, this is what's difficult about these hearings. We're supposed to talk to you beforehand, but then we don't get all the agreement. And then it's difficult because we're not supposed to be having a discussion with the applicant if we understand it. Although other boroughs do have discussions during these, because I read a lot of other boroughs' decision letters. So, okay. Yes, and then I just want to explain once again, I'm sorry, but there seems to be a misunderstanding about the outside area behind, the problems, the safety issues, the staircase, and so on. This is very much to do with the license, because during licensable hours, the applicant has to be in full control of what's going on in its premises, i.e. on this roof terrace, the curtilage of the roof terrace, any entrances to the roof terrace, and perhaps, if they think a bit more broadly, things around the roof terrace. So that has very much to do with licensable hours. I mean, that's very clear, and it's very important that we all understand that. It's about activities during licensable hours. Kids can climb up, people can fall over, people can push each other. Yes, he mentioned a 5-foot glass thing, and whatever. I also we can't ask questions, but it was mentioned that after 2300 there is no lighting on the terrace. So does that mean that you have cameras, but they're infrared? I'm wondering if that means that you have cameras, and I'm wondering if that means that you have infrared cameras up there. I didn't ask the question. Okay, so that's our summing up. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Lorna, your hand is up. Lorna.
Yeah, I just looked into the question that Councillor Alfonso asked. The two Wetherspoons of William and Morris and the West 12 shopping centre, there's been no enforcement action. And for the Plough and Harrow, there was one minor breach during a licence inspection where a minimum measure for beer was not displayed, and an inspection sheet was left as a warning, but it was resolved, and there's been no other enforcement action across any of the premises in the borough.
Thank you. Please, before I go further, can I ask Gerta to explain the licensing law regarding building, because Charlotte is not quite happy with what I've said about the licensing, because planning, I think it has to do more with planning, not the license. You just to give anyway. Gerta, please, can you explain? Because,
yeah, absolutely. So a building, a site, it's not even whether they have a license or not. They are governed by different legislation. There are different rules, like a planning permission. They will have conditions on the planning permission to deal with the building, with the safety, with the roof. For example, health and safety in terms of fire escape is dealt by different legislation, which means that if there is a concern about the roof, and it cannot be imposed, we cannot add a condition to that effect. For example, it can be dealt by the planning legislation. I do not have the planning permission in front of me, and I do not know. So I think Nigel mentioned that the planning permission was recently granted. I do not know whether there is a condition about the roof, the safety of the roof. But it's not something that you can impose. You cannot impose a license condition to deal with the safety of the roof. Although there is the safety, the promotion of safety, of public safety, licensable objective, it's not to deal with the roof itself, how the roof, so that is dealt by different legislation, in this case, the planning permission. But I think whatever the license committee will decide tonight, there will be something written in the decision letter to acknowledge the fact that the applicant will deal with this issue and will take measures, but a condition to that effect cannot be enforced because it won't be a licensable condition. So we cannot add a condition to the license to tell the applicant, this is what you have to do with the roof. You need to secure the roof. You need to do that because it's dealt by a different legislation. So it doesn't mean that there are no regulations or other conditions that will be imposed within a premises license, within a site, but it doesn't mean that they are regulated by the Licensing Act.
Thank you very much. Now, can I ask Nigel to sum up? Nigel, I'm going to allow you 20 minutes.
I won't need anything like that, Chair. What I would propose to do is simply address some of those wider points which have been raised in the summing up of everyone else. Firstly, in respect of the roof, I would agree with your legal advisor's interpretation of your powers in respect of imposing conditions regarding the roof. I've checked the planning permission. There isn't anything specific to it, but we will and have incorporated into the design specific measures to prevent access from the outside and prevent customers falling into the glass roof from the inside. I know that Mr. Wade has been to the premises. He's very much of the view that the roof can easily be accessed, and he will ensure that the wider development deals with that issue as well. And we will engage, and you have my commitment that we will engage with other operators in the centre and in the vicinity to deal with the wider access problems. So there's no point in us just dealing with access from our small area if people can access that area from other points of access elsewhere in the development. So you do have my and the company's undertaking that we will deal with that issue. In no particular order, Chair, in respect of Pub Watch, we're very active participants in Pub Watch, and Mr. Cobley informs me that when we previously operated premises in Fulham, which were closed because the lease ran out, for avoidance of any doubt, we did participate in Fulham Pub Watch. We do participate in Hammersmith Pub Watch, and as a company, we actually sponsor the national organisation for various things and really work with them to develop pub watches in areas where there aren't pub watches. So we're fully committed to Pub Watch. In respect of the opening time for sale of alcohol, or the start time for sale of alcohol, the proposal was that be amended from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, not 10 o'clock as Ms. Dexter pointed out. That's very much in line with our premises elsewhere in the borough and nationally. As Mr. Wade says, the amount of alcohol sold at that time of the premises is very limited, and all the measures that we have in place throughout the time alcohol is sold at our pubs apply to those early hours as well. And it's not an issue that, in my 20 odd years of working on licensing with the company has ever really caused any issues. It's not an issue which has been raised by the police, even in respect of 8 AM. So I would suggest that 9 AM is a suitable start time for sale of alcohol in respect of these premises. In terms of the off sales, just really for the avoidance of doubt, we are happy to agree to a condition which limits off sales simply for alcohol to be consumed in the external terrace area of the premises. That will apply all the time, So there's no need for a condition which applies on match days. That applies all the time, and that will mean people cannot take alcohol away from the premises to drink away from the premises. It means they cannot take alcohol outside the premises to drink at the front of the premises. In terms of smokers, yes, we do need to manage that. We don't want them congregating. We don't want them littering the front of the premises. But we have, as you would expect, given the size of the premises, Chair, a large front of house team operating all the time. What we do is task certain individuals on their rota to deal with specific areas of the premises, and the outside area to the front will be one of those areas. So there'll be somebody monitoring that area. It is covered by CCTV. In football match days, when that area might be busier with smokers than normal, door staff will be on duty, and clearly part of their duty will be to make sure that area is kept clear, that people aren't congregating, and specifically people aren't taking drinks outside the premises to consume on the roadway. I think those were the main issues, Chair. Very much look forward to working with the residents. It's been really helpful tonight to hear how positive they've been about Wetherspoons coming back to Fulham, and it really helps us when we have an engaged local community who are willing to work with us on not only the operation of the premises but other issues which affect the local community. We are a national community, but a national operator, but we very much like to be part of the local community, and fully intend to be so in respect of this application. And there was just one specific question again from Ms Dexter regarding the lighting on the terrace. Mr Wade has just confirmed to me by text that our cameras operate in low light conditions, so they will be able to pick up anybody accessing the garden area after it closes, even though we will take measures to ensure that doesn't happen. They will be covered by CCTV, which will pick up any activity. I think that was it, Chair, unless there's anything I've missed, but I'm grateful for the opportunity you've given us all to address you tonight and deal with the representations made. It's been a very interesting, very helpful hearing, and I'm obliged for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Nigel. That's great. That's fantastic. I must say now, you are welcome to remain in the meeting to hear committee's decision. However, this might take some time. If you don't want to wait, a summary decision will be published on Council's website tomorrow morning. Can I ask members to turn off their video, mute their microphone, and join me in the Teams meeting for deliberation? Okay, thank you. Is everybody in? Hello?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, thank you. 472 Fulham Road, London, SW6 1BY, the premises. The committee has considered an application for the new premises license for the provision of late night refreshment, both indoors and outdoors, and the sale of alcohol, both on and off the premises, under the Licensing Act 2003. The application, in summary, the committee has decided, after taking into account all the individual circumstances of this case and the promotion of 4 licensing objectives, to 1, grant the application as follows. Late night refreshment indoors and outdoors, Sundays to Thursday, 23:00 hours to 00 hours. Friday and Saturday, 23 hours to 1 o'clock. Non-standard timing, an additional hour on Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, Monday, Thursday, Sunday, preceding bank holiday, Mondays, New Year's Eve, and the morning BST commence. Sales of alcohol on and off premises, Sundays to Thursday, 9 to 23:30 hours. Friday and Saturday, 23 hours to 00:30 hours. Non-standard timing, an additional hour on Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, Monday, Thursday, Sunday, Monday to Thursday, Saturday, preceding bank holiday Monday, and New Year's Eve. The morning BST commence. 2, the opening hours of the premises are as follows. Sundays to Thursday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 23 hours to 01:00 hour. 3, the licensing is subject to any mandatory conditions. 4, the licensing is subject to the condition volunteered by the applicants in the operating schedules as amended at hearing. 5, to impose conditions to the license as agreed at the hearing as follows. 1, there shall be no sale of alcohol for the consumption outside the premises except for the external terrace of the premises. 2, a responsible member of staff shall organize and accommodate meetings to discuss the operation of the premises with residents at least twice, 2 times per year calendar. The meeting shall be advertised at least 14 days before it is due date by letter to residents and residents association in the locality, as well as the licensing authority. 3, a condition about being part of local pub watch scheme. This license becomes operational within immediate effect. If problems are experienced, then an application for review of the premises license can be made. A copy of this committee's full decision, including its reasons, will be sent to parties forthwith. If applicant or any person who has made a relevant representation is unhappy with the decision, they are entitled to appeal to the magistrate court within 21 days from the date of notification of the full decision.
Chair, I can see Nigel has got his hands up. I don't know whether he wants to.
Okay, Nigel.
Sorry, Chair. I just think that you may possibly have just misread the decision notice in respect of the start time for sale of alcohol on Fridays and Saturdays. I think you read out 2300 when I think it would be 0900, Chair. I think it is possibly just an oversight, I'm sure. So I just wanted to flag it at this stage.
Sale of alcohol on and off premises, is that the one?
Yeah, on Friday and Saturday. I think you said it starts at 2300 to 0030, but it should be 0900 to 0030, I think. I hope.
Oh, yeah. Sale of alcohol, yes.
Yes.
That's
sorry.
fine. That was it, Chair. Sorry to interrupt. I thought I may as well deal with it now.
Sorry. I think thank you for spotting it out. Thank you. The same applies to the hours of premises being open as follows as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the start time for the sale of alcohol.
Yes,
should be 9.
sorry.
Should be 9, yes.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah, sorry we didn't spot that. Okay. Thank you for watching and those participating in hearing tonight. A summary decision will be posted on Council's website tomorrow morning. Thank you all for coming, and thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, officers. Thank you, residents. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, everyone.
Good night, Chair. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.